Good morning. I'm kidding. How's everybody doing? Has it been a good day? That's great. Like Ben said, my name is Chris Coverness. My friends call me Kubby. I'm originally Canadian, but I was imported into Denmark by my lovely wife, who has had to deal with me for the last 9 years or so. I have my own digital agency based here in Copenhagen. And basically we do social media content, websites, apps, basically anything that keeps the lights on, it keeps employees happy. So we do a bunch of stuff. Now, before I get started, I kind of want to read on the room here. Who are like e-commerce managers? A little bit less than I thought. How many are like digital marketers? How many are CMOs? No CMOs. How many just like walked off the street and was like, hell, I'll do this today? A couple of people. Yes, all right. So I'm going to teach you guys about Snapchat if you don't know already about it. But so this is me at age 6. Even then I knew I wanted to be a marketer, which is weird. I was really into art. I was into drawing. I was into actually critiquing ads on the television. My parents were like, this is a weird child we have here. But I really wanted to be in advertising and marketing. So I begged my parents for like this book, 1,000 Careers in Advertising, which is like, what kid wants that? And I basically read it cover to cover and learned about all the jobs. So, you know, copywriting and ad agency, bookings, and all that kind of stuff. So that was my childhood. This is the childhood today for most people. How many people have done this? A large percentage of you. That's interesting, right? So I'm not really here to talk about Snapchat, even though my presentation is called, Snapchat, a missed e-commerce opportunity. There's a little bit of Snapchat in there, but mostly it's about getting into the new media, getting into what's going on out there, and trying to inspire you guys to get on the boat, so to speak, because I believe that we're just not qualified to handle the things that are going on today. Specifically when it comes to Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, we're from a different, at least I am, from a different generation of marketing. I've been doing this for so long that the new playground is way different and it's changed so many things. And I really think that that's where we stand today. So I think that we're in a place where shift happens. Not shit happens, but shift happens. And so I really want to encourage you guys to get into this. Because the truth is like many of us who are running e-commerce sites or running sites for brands, we think our party is like this. We think our site is amazing. It's got so much traffic. It's crazy, man. It's a wow party. But it's really like this. A few hundred users every day. Maybe you guys are running massive e-commerce sites, so I don't know what you guys are doing. But we typically think it's the other way, but it's really in this zone. So, and that's where I think it's really interesting when we talk about social media. You guys have maybe heard this story 1,000 times, but when we talk about number of users and a number of people that are doing social media, it's astonishing. And I still think it's funny that a lot of brands haven't really grasped this yet. So, and for example, here, if you look at number of users for these different sites, we're looking at Facebook, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, some Asian stuff, Instagram. Instagram is way more than this now. They're at like 800. They've really skyrocketed, and I'll talk a little bit about that. But here down in the bottom is Snapchat. I just want you guys to look at this, because this is really strange to me. Here we have number 9 or something like that, but all the top guys are chasing this thing. Why is that? Because fundamentally what Snapchat has done is changed the way we communicate, similar to how Facebook did it 10 years ago. And that's why Facebook, Instagram, WeChat, all these guys are chasing this, because they saw this and they saw, hey, wait a second, these guys, they've got an avid user base of younger people. They're onto something really interesting. So this is super interesting to me, and that's why I bring it up, because for you guys, you have to look at this and go, hey, we kind of missed, well, a lot of people, we missed the Facebook boat. We missed really doing that well. Now we're playing catch up. I think the same thing, and you could say the same thing happened for Snapchat here, is people have said, oh, well, the same thing that they said on Facebook, oh, that's for kids. We'll never sell to our customers on Facebook. Never. How many people said that? I know I did, right? A lot of people said, no way, right? And it's the same with Snapchat here. We're seeing this similar thing. People spend 118 minutes a day on social media. No site, literally no site on the planet gets this much traction. If you get 4 minutes, you're a god. Snapchat has 10 billion views a day. Just to illustrate that further, does anybody remember this? Yeah. What's this guy's name again? He's a famous Danish actor. Are you guys not Danish? Who am I talking to here? You don't know him? It's a comedian, Rasmus. Not as Rasmus. Never mind. Anyway, this Snapchat geo filter, lens, I should call it, during the Super Bowl had 160 million views. Does anybody want to take a guess at how many views of the Super Bowl there was that year? Come on, somebody guess. How much? 100 million. You're very, very close. 115. In other words, the Snapchat lens got more views than the actual Super Bowl. That's fucking unreal. If that doesn't blow your mind, I don't know what will. So there'll be winners in this game, and there'll be losers in this game, unfortunately. And I'm trying to make sure that you guys are not losers in this game. I want everybody to win. I want everybody to see the shifts that are happening and to get on the boat early enough so they don't end up like this girl. But to be quite honest, we're all going to end up like this girl because you're not going to nail it the first time. Nobody ever does. But you're going to nail it the second time or the third time or the fourth time. So Snapchat, what it represents, and also all social media, is the opportunity to talk to your customers every single day. And people might say, oh man, you're just saturating them with all this. But if you have good content that people actually want to consume, you have that opportunity. Most websites, most even email marketing, if you're sending email every day, it might hurt your open rates quite a bit. But with social media, you have the power to talk to your customers every single day. That's freaking crazy. And I don't know why more brands are not doing it. Because it'll create loyalty. We've seen with the brands that we work with, I've seen with my own personal brand that when I go into this zone, when I go into creating content every single day, when I interact with my fans, if we want to call them that, my followers every single day, it creates loyalty and it creates more momentum. Does anybody know who this is? Nobody? DJ Khaled, okay, one of the number one Snapchatters in the world, doing weird shit like, driving his jet ski off into nowhere. So the great thing about this, who here has a brand that's on Snapchat? Great. So you guys are already in the zone. How many on Instagram stories? A little bit more. Okay, so I like this. So you guys are already in the zone. That's great. And then for those who aren't doing Snapchat or Instagram stories or getting into Facebook Day even, which is like the sort of ripoff, you don't even need to make content. This is what's surprising to me, is that you guys have so much content already at your disposal. If you're selling pack shots, you have pack shots of the products you sell. You probably have videos of the products you sell. You probably have animations that you've done in the past. You probably have links on your website to certain offers or certain deals that you're running, or you're maybe even behind the scenes. You're showing, hey, we're at the warehouse. We're packing up some stuff for some customers. Here, we're at the product innovation lab. We're making something cool over here. You have so much at your disposal, but you're not even doing it. So one way is also you could pay influencers. How many use influencer marketing? Quite a few, you guys. I love it. You guys are way better than I thought you'd be. Just kidding. So you could pay influencers to basically do your marketing for you. And this is a very simple way to get into this. You don't even need to Snapchat. You don't even need to do Instagram stories. You could basically find someone who's in your niche. I recommend micro-influencers, somebody who's not like has 1 million followers, because typically their engagement levels are can be pretty low depending on how many people follow them. Finding micro-influencers and paying them to promote your product, as long as it integrates into their life, into their story. If it's something like, hey, I just bought this amazing tea kettle and from some teakettle.com, and yeah, it's really great, and they're not a tea drinker, they're clearly a coffee drinker, then it's just not going to work. Some people believe that content is king. I actually believe that existing content is king. Stuff that you guys already have at your disposal. You probably have a ton of stuff that you can tap into, and I really recommend you do. You probably have videos, like I said. Here's some small examples of stuff that we do. So for example, if I'm doing a vlog, or I'm doing an event, or if I'm talking about something, a YouTube video, we'll cut it up into 15-second segments that we use on social media. So here's just a small example. Oh, do we have sound? So that's a 15-second clip. This is easy animations that you can do. Here's another one. And this is so simple to produce. If you have an in-house video team, or if you're using an agency, this is so simple. It's literally 15 seconds of content that you need to put together that will interest people, content that they actually want to consume. Instead of, a lot of people just put up buy our products now, which is really not what people are into. Here's just another example. Because people are scared of ads. How many people here click on ads? How many people here run ads? Did you get my point? I'm just, I know I'm being a little bit pressing you guys a bit, but this is absolutely true. We can see that. Human behavior is if you see that little sponsored thing, people are scrolling as fast as they can past it because they don't want to be advertised to. So we have to take that human behavior into what we're doing with our e-commerce platforms, or with our websites, or with our e-business, or whatever business that we're running online, and start to think about, okay, well, how do we actually get people interested in what we're doing? How do we build a brand that people actually, when they want to come and consume our content, we don't have to push it out to them? People are, like I said, people are afraid of two things: death and ads. So I believe that fully. One of the other ways that you can tap into this, if you are going to run ads, is what I call tapping into the zeitgeist. And that's tapping into the feeling of the day, basically. Does anybody remember this ad? So this was brilliant, right? This is actually an advertisement that I think works. Instead of, hey, buy our product, it's tapping into what's going on out there in the world, what's interesting. Okay, Brad and Angelina broke up, so let's run an ad about that. And this went viral for them. This got so much organic traffic for them. It was incredible. I don't know how many tickets it sold. I wanted to buy one. Hell, I'll go find Brad if I have to. Right? But this is what I think is interesting in advertising today. I don't think it's, hey, buy our product, because you're relying on the fact that you'll find them in the funnel in a certain spot, and sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you can do that. But fundamentally, people are scared of advertising unless it looks like this. The other thing that you can do, which I think is really smart to do in Snapchat for advertising, is what we call geohacking, which is essentially running geo filters. Now, you guys can't do it here in Denmark. I'm sorry. I've asked Snapchat, and I've asked Snapchat, and I've asked Snapchat over and over again, please, can you let this happen in Denmark? I don't know what their deal is with that. But these are branded geo filters that are running at certain locations, right? High traffic zones that will help people enhance their day. If they're at a monument in Copenhagen, or they're down in Stroll, or they're wherever, the idea is that you would be able to advertise your products in a fun and interesting way using geo tagging or geo filters, right? So they could flip through their different lenses and say, okay, this is interesting. That's a nice way to do advertising as well. But you're probably asking me, okay, this is fine and dandy. We we get it, Chris. Snapchat, that's cool. That's Instagram stories, that's cool. But how do we actually get sales from this? I actually have a few thoughts on it. I don't know fully. I'll be quite honest with you guys. But there is some things that I think you guys can do. And that is to do what I call the wife test. And that is, like I said before, nobody wants to see your advertising. So I feel like advertising is a little like this. When I go to my wife and I say, hey, honey, you want to have sex? The chances of conversion are very low. Very fucking low. Like, very low, right? But if I come with this is branding, you guys. This is all about brand. If I come with some flowers, I get a little bit closer. If I come with a cupcake, I'm getting really close now. If I put on some Barry White, things are probably going to happen. Just saying. So, so I really think about brands need to get into this zone, because I think a lot of brands are doing, hey, honey, you want to have sex? And the instant answer is no. Specifically for the younger generation as well. They smell bullshit from a mile away. They're used to advertising. They're used to being bombarded with messages. You know, you got to get away from that. You got to get above the noise. And some of the ways you could do that is being very smart about communicating and marketing on Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, whatever those platforms are, new ones that are coming up as well. And I have a little growth hack for you guys. You guys into growth hacking? This is a growth hack for my wife. If I just have some, if I have some red wine, I can convert way, way better. So, so these are, and I use this in marketing because that's basically what we need to find out in marketing is our goal is to find out what is the red wine? What is the things that we can actually do to skip the funnel and go to the end, right? And that is, we're after the red wine. And I've found a lot of things really work well when it comes to Snapchat. And that is, you know, it might not be as sexy as red wine, but it's really about showing up consistently every single day to speak to my audience, to give them valuable content, to entertain them. And then it sort of is like a, you know, a lot of people, when they talk about innovation or they talk about sales, they talk about growth, they want to see a nice steady curve like this, right? A lot of companies in digital transformation, they expect year-over-year returns, and it's typically not like that. Typically we see it's a hockey stick. It's literally like months and months and months, no movement, and then all of a sudden, now we're getting the growth, right? And I think that we have to start putting that more into our mindsets as we develop marketing campaigns, programs, you know, putting money into platforms like Snapchat, like Instagram. We have to know that there is a run up, and then all of a sudden we're getting cascading returns. So that's really one of my messages to you guys. The ultimate hack is, of course, brand. If you have a brand, Nike's site could be the piece of dog shit site. Like it could literally, Nike's site could be the worst site on the planet and people would still buy stuff from Nike because they have such an incredible brand. And that's the same for you guys. I think, you know, in our digital marketing world, I've done it the same thing. I mean, we forgot a little bit about how important branding is because we think that we can just run ads on Facebook and then start getting conversions. And the truth of the matter is, it's not the case. We have to build a brand. We have to build some want in the marketplace that they go, you know what? I want this. For example, our good friend Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt's got a way better brand than I do. I can guarantee it. Right? So when he says, hey, honey, you want to have sex? He converts pretty high, okay? He's got a good conversion rate. And that's what brand can really do. Brad's brand can convert. And that's what I mean by building these brands. So if you're going to do a, hey, honey, how about some sex? Then it's going to be working way better for you guys. So I really recommend that strategy, focusing on a brand, trying to build something that people go and say, okay, when I see an ad from that company, I just love that company. I'm gonna convert. That's Brad when he gets conversions. I don't know, I just love this GIF. So I'm like, I'll put that in there. So, for example, in all of this, how many know that Toys R Us went bankrupt? A lot of people. The Toys R Us story is incredibly interesting and relevant for us today because it is a retail giant that also actually was ahead of the game. They were into e-commerce. They thought actually back in 2001, which is a like incredible forethought move, say, hey, we'll partner with Amazon. Amazon will sell our stuff because we're not good at e-commerce. We don't know what we're doing in this area. And that'll be our gateway to win. And back then, I mean, Amazon wasn't the behemoth that it is today. So that was a very smart move. But what happened was basically Amazon said, well, we're going to let other people sell toys on the platform, of course, right? I mean, that's just market dynamics. That's just competition. And Toys R Us said, no, we're going to take our toys and go home. So they did, and they basically sued Amazon for the next 5 years. Meanwhile, they weren't building their e-commerce platform. They weren't getting into the new things. They weren't innovating. They weren't saying, hey, we better be on Facebook. We better be on all these different platforms because that's where parents are and that's where kids are. And they basically destroyed themselves. So they didn't see the changes that were coming. They didn't see the shift that was happening. And I think we're going to see a lot more of this in the future. I mean, we've seen Blockbuster had the same thing. We've seen so many instances of this. And that's because we haven't noticed the changes that are happening and getting on the boat early enough to do something about it. And that's why I'm very much into talking to groups like you guys and trying to inspire you guys to say, hey, you know what? We should be doing much more in Snapchat and Instagram, because the truth is that the ROI is pretty, it's pretty low to get in now. I mean, it's like buying a stock. You want to buy low and sell high. When a platform is noisy, it costs more to get in, right? So your ROI is way less. So I look at social platforms like ROI. Here's your customers, basically. Are you prepared to talk with them? Do you understand them? This is what I worry about. This is what keeps me up at night. Because the next thing is this. And if you're not into this now, if you haven't figured out Snapchat now, if you haven't figured out Facebook by now, if you haven't figured out YouTube by now, how are you going to do this? Right? This is me, by the way. No, it's not. I wish it was. It's a classic example, right? How many have done that? I've done that as well. The truth is like this is coming. I've seen instances of this where people are online shopping in Japan in VR and AR, and it's insane. It's literally like you're looking at it going, oh my God. So this is coming. Who's prepared for this? I hope you guys all are prepared for this. 2 guys, I love it. Because I want you guys to take the jump. I want you guys to, because you're going to fail. This is the point of this whole thing. You're going to fail. But I want you guys to make the leap of faith, similar to this kitty cat, and get on the boat. Get into Snapchat marketing. Get into Instagram marketing, Instagram stories, talking to your customers every single day, building a brand that people actually want to hear, hey, honey, do you want to have sex? Because shift happens, and it will continue to happen. That's all from me. Thank you guys so much. Connect with me everywhere, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, LinkedIn, MySpace. Kidding. Google+, not kidding. I'm still on Google+.